So you know how I've been really good at not hauling books? I hauled 24 in April. So hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my April book haul. I've been really good in February and March hauling 12 and 13 books and being like, look at me, I'm a changed person. And then I go ahead and haul double this month. I can't even blame people for gifts. It was basically just me and the need to spend money to make myself feel happy. Let's just crack on into it and see what books I got this month. Starting off with books I got in charity shops. I saw them there and couldn't leave them. The first one is The Push by Audrey Audrain. It's not, it's by Ashley Audrain. This I've seen going around quite a lot, but I haven't heard too many people's final thoughts on it, I don't think. But this says, Blythe and Violet, mother and daughter. It's a bond like no other. But what if your little angel is really a monster? And why can no one else see it but you? I think it sounds so interesting. It's giving me vibes of Baby Teeth, which I still haven't read yet, but that's kind of the same principle. And I feel like this is going to be a good time, so I couldn't leave it going cheap. Another one I saw and just thought, why the hell not give this a go, is The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne? The same guy who wrote The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, which I absolutely loved, of course. But this one is about Catherine, who's cast out from home, 16 and pregnant, boards the bus to Dublin to start afresh. Once there, she has no choice but to believe that the nun to whom she entrusts her child will find him a better life. That's all I'm going to read from the back, or we'll be here forever if I keep reading all the synopses, blurbs, whatever we want to call them. But I have heard from Laura that she really enjoyed this one, so I'm hoping that I like it too. Then I saw a few blasts from the past on the shelf that I couldn't leave. I got I'd Tell You I'd Love You But Then I'd Have to Kill You by Ali Carter. This is book number 1 of the Gallagher Girls series, which I absolutely loved when I was about 11. And I have wanted to reread the series for a while, was going to get them out of the library, but when I saw this going for about 75p, I couldn't leave it. The Gallagher Girls books are books about a group of spy teenage girls. It's a great time. And the final book from a charity shop was Ginger Snaps by Kathy Cassidy. This one had been on my mind quite a lot lately. I keep saying that I've never met an author, especially when I'm talking about preparations for YALC. And then I remembered that when I was little, I did meet Kathy Cassidy in high school, and I had a copy of Ginger Snaps, which she signed. It was my favourite book. I loved it so much. But unfortunately, I have no idea where that book went. But this is about Ginger, who is Ginger. Why not? And she meets a new guy in school who plays the saxophone, is what I remember. But I remember loving this so much. It's only a tiny little book. It was 50p. Blast from the past. There were then a few books I bought full price. Oh my god, shocker. But I actually got them in the works, so they were cheap. The first one is Night Chills by Dean Koontz. I've wanted to read a Dean Koontz book ever since chatting to Marlene. She reads quite a lot of them, I think. I've seen her read them before, and I was always intrigued by hearing her talk about them. They always sounded dark and grisly, and I wanted to give them a go. So this says, Glenn drove the Land Rover into a stone wall at 100 miles per hour. Alice stuck a meat fork through her hand and pinned it to the chopping board. Brenda took off all her clothes. She did whatever she was told. They were compelled by a fear too great to be remembered, enslaved by a power no man should ever wield. Have you read this one, Marlene? Let me know. And the other one I got, which I think I might make a Chloe's Crime Scene Corner book, is Inside the Mind of Jeffrey Dahmer by Christopher Berry D. I've read a few Christopher Berry D books and I have more on my shelves, and my point all the time is that he should focus on one serial killer per book, which it seems like in this case he's done. So I'm intrigued to see how I find the writing in this one, but I'd also love some more information on Jeffrey Dahmer. I feel like everybody says they know who he is and what he did, but do we know that many facts? Probably not. So I'm going to dive into this one. There were then a few books I got on Amazon. I got these 4 books for £11, so they were just really good deals. The first one is All These Bodies by Kendara Blake. I don't really know anything about this. It had been on my wish list for a pretty long time, so let's read the back together. It says, the only suspect in the bloodless murders, 15-year-old Marie Catherine Hale, who was found at the scene of the crime, covered in blood. but she refuses to confess to anyone except aspiring journalist Michael Jensen, the sheriff's son. Marie's time is running out, but she chose Michael for a reason, and his search for answers is her last chance to finally tell her story, a story that will call into question everything he knows. So I don't feel like that really gives much away. I haven't even heard that many things about this. I just remember seeing the title, thinking it sounded cool, made it onto my wish list, and when it was down to like less than £4, I got it. Next up, we have Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare and a whole lot of other authors. This one I'm going to need eventually for the By the Angel along. I have never read this collection of short stories. When I say collection, it is a collection. But yeah, I was going to need it at some point, so when it was in one of these deals, I think this was £3.50 potentially, I just thought I'd grab it. So yeah, I can't even tell you what characters this follows. I have no idea. Next up, this book was £2, so I couldn't leave it, and that is The Roommate by Rosie Danan. This is about Clara, who finds herself sharing a house with a charming stranger. Josh might be a bit too perceptive, not to mention handsome for comfort, but there's a good chance he and Clara could have survived sharing a summer sublet if she hadn't looked him up on the internet. I'm not going to read more into it. It seems like a very cute summery time. It's quite short and maybe it'll make a good plain read. Who knows? And the final book that I've been on the lookout for a while, so when it was £2 I had to grab it, and that is Hex Life, which is a collection of short stories about witches and magic. The only reason I wanted this is there is a short story in here by Rachel Kane, author of the Morganville series, and apparently there is a story in here from after the Morganville series finishes. So even if I just read that 40-page short story, this is going to be worth it. Other authors in here, we have Kelly Armstrong, Theodora Goss, and sadly no one else I recognise, but I'm just here for Rachel Kane. Nearly there with the books I bought myself. I now have 2 books that were fully influenced by Chelsea. The first one is The Life We Almost Had by Amelia Henley. Chelsea says she doesn't cry at books and that this one made her cry. So I'm not going to read the back of it. Again, I think I've read it one time. I'll just read, this is not a typical love story, but it's our love story. Chelsea cried. I'm obviously going to cry. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this one. And also recommended by Chelsea is The Family by Louise Jensen, and it turns out that Louise Jensen is Amelia Henley, so this is going to be an interesting concept. But this one sounds a bit cultish from the back, but apparently it's not, so we're not going to read that out again. I read it out when I got it in one of my vlogs, but yes, a thriller. Once you're in, they'll never let you leave. Exciting. And finally, I got another book from one of my favourite thriller authors, that is Shari Lapina, and I got An Unwanted Guest. I was half convinced I'd read this one, but I haven't. I've read A Stranger in the House, which sounds very similar. But this is about a remote, beautiful inn, Mitchell's Inn, where people are looking forward to a relaxing weekend deep in the forest, miles from anywhere. They watch their fellow guests with interest from a polite difference, until we find ourselves in a situation we cannot escape, trapped. It sounds good. It's pretty short for a thriller. It's less than 300 pages. I think this is going to be a fun time. All of Shari Lapina's books I've given between a 3 and 4 star, so this is probably going to be a fun time and I'm glad I got my hands on it. Okay, moving on to the gifts I got from you lovely people this month. I have One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which was a gift from Abby, so thank you so much again, Abby. This book sounds absolutely amazing. It's about Emma and Jesse, who were high school sweethearts, and then they get married. 364 days after their wedding, Jesse is on a helicopter that goes missing mid-flight. So suddenly he is gone. Years later, Emma is back in her hometown. She's grieved, she's learned to live again, she's fallen in love. At a family dinner one autumn evening, she receives a phone call from Jesse, and it sounds absolutely amazing. I think this has the potential to push Evelyn Hugo out of the top spot. We will see. And on the same vein of Taylor Jenkins Reid, I got a book yesterday when I'm filming this from Laura, who got me Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She says this one isn't as good as One True Loves, but had to get it me because it's TJ. Does anyone else get J and G wrong when they're saying it out loud? Random point. Anyway, but this is about Hannah, who is 29, has no home, no career, and no idea what she wants to do with her life. After years of different cities and jobs, she heads back to LA for another fresh start, this time with the help of her best friend, Gabby. We're not going to read more from there, otherwise we will be here forever. But yeah, thank you, Laura, for this completely unnecessary gift, but thank you for forcing more of this lady's books in my life. We then have a gift from Victoria, who sent me The Club by Ellery Lloyd. This is an ARC that she received from Book Break, I believe. I want to say Book Break. And yeah, she doesn't keep her ARCs when she's done, so I now own it. So very happy. This is by the same authors. It's the husband and wife duo as People Like Her, which is down on my shelves down here. I don't want to reorganize everything, but this is about an island home tipped to be the biggest celebrity event of the decade. Things are far from perfect at home, and with long-suffering staff struggling to satisfy spiraling demands, secrets at risk of being exposed, and careers at stake, the weekend slowly turns deadly, because in a world where your reputation is everything, you'd do anything to keep it. It sounds very intriguing, and yeah, Victoria said she liked this but didn't like absolutely love it, so I have high hopes. We then have a gift from the lovely Sophie, who sent me Love Lockdown by Beth Reckles. This was kind of a gift, kind of an ARC swap, but I'm including it in the gifts because that's definitely how I see it. I don't know much about this one. I read the blurb of it in a vlog. I'm not going to do it all again here, but Beth is the author of The Kissing Booth, which is one of my favourite YA contemporary romances, and I'm actually very excited to be I'm going to take Going the Distance, I think, to Yauk, where Beth Reckles is signing, because of how much it shows elements of my long distance relationship, but that's a whole other point. That's the reason I wanted this book on my wish list. I wanted more Beth Reckles in my life. I wasn't too impressed with the decisions she made on The Kissing Booth 3. There was a whole thing with Netflix, whatever, so I decided it's the perfect time to get a whole other book, whole other world, not world, it's our world, you know what I mean, a whole other storyline from this author where I have previously enjoyed her work. And then we have two gifts from the same crazy lady that came throughout the month. Very, very different vibes. The first one is No Exit by Taylor Adams. This one I have heard amazing things about, and when I talked about it in my vlogs, everyone told me how many amazing things they'd heard about it, so I definitely have high hopes. This is about Darby, who is a college student stranded by a blizzard at a highway rest stop. I don't just want to read out the blurb, so I believe that there are a limited number of people in this rest stop, and in one of the cars she sees a young girl who appears to have been kidnapped, so she takes it upon herself to work out which of these people has kidnapped a child. And that's all I know. It's relatively short, actually. Another one less than 300 pages. I've heard purely just amazing things, so can't wait. But the other book she got me that arrived 10 minutes before I filmed this video is You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. This one sounds really, really good. It's about two friends who go on a holiday vacation every year together, but it says 2 summers ago it all goes wrong, and this summer Poppy asks Alex to join her on one last trip. Could this trip make them realise they're not just friends after all? I still haven't read Beach Read. I can see it there, it's taunting me. I do need to read it, but yeah, decided why not just add another one of these to my wish list, and then Mal has kindly facilitated my book buying habits. And the final section of books here is books I have been sent from companies. The first two that I've got here are from Tandem. I did some work for them in an evening, and they sent me a box of goodies as a thank you. So the first book I have is The Castaways by Lucy Clark. This is like a desert island. You wake on a beautiful secluded beach, the sun bakes down, a shimmering ocean stretches into the horizon. The island is as far from home as you could imagine. Yet this is no ordinary escape. A secret beach, an island with no name, what a place for your last holiday. This is huge. This is a huge book, but I wanted this anyway. I was considering picking it up, so amazing that it was sent in the Tandem box. The other one I have here is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I wasn't too intent on picking this up because I read The Mothers by Britt Bennett and didn't love it, and I didn't want to bring the hype down for this book that so many people love, but I own it now, so we will see. From what I understand, this is about two twins, Stella and Desiree, who are identical. They grow up in a southern black community, and then when they're 16 they run away. One of the sisters lives with her black daughter in the same southern town she once tried to escape. The other sister secretly passes as white, and her husband knows nothing of her past. It sounds very interesting and like topical, but so many people love this that I don't want to bring it down, so I don't know about this one. And finally, we have the 4 books that I got in my A Box of Stories box. That video would have gone up last week, so I'm not going to repeat the anything about these books, but I will just show them to you here. We have The Two Lives of Lewis and Louise by Julie Cohen, The Honours by Tim Clare, The Door That Led to Where by Sally Gardner, and Kingdom of Souls by Raina Barron. So all of these books were from A Box of Stories. I will link the unboxing in the description. Make sure you go and check it out if you'd like any more information on their boxes and my discount code. But those were the 24 books I hauled last month. I know I have issues. I'm not planning on working on them. That is a lie. I unhauled more books than I hauled this month. So be ready for another unhaul video coming very, very soon. If you missed my last one, that again will be linked in the description. So I've been talking for over 20 minutes now. My voice is dry, seeing as I also just did my wrap up. But yes, I need to stop talking now, so please do let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these books, loved them, hated them, have any opinions, and I'm going to get back to studying, which is what I should be doing. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!